Yes, and we are back with another episode of After Monday. My name is Joy Nathu, and thank you so much for all the comments you did bring after we aired our first episode of After Monday podcast. And there was so much overwhelming response. We received so many comments, so many suggestions, and you have a lot of things to say. And let me just tell you that we shall be picking some of our topics of discussions through the suggestions and also the comments that you are giving us. So please keep them coming and also subscribe to this After Monday podcast page here on YouTube. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. And today I've got two guests on the show, and I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me here. It was great. My name is Gary Samati.
Yes, and Gary, please, a little bio, man. Tell us a little bit what you do.
I'm a digital creative. I like to refer to myself as a digital media practitioner because I do different things that are media related, but mainly switching to digital these days. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's who I am.
Great. Thank you for joining us today, Gary.
Thank you.
Oh, you waited for me?
Yeah.
You thought you wanted to introduce yourself?
Hi guys. This is Prince Wongani Chikweba. Yeah, a media consultant, artist manager, and events producer.
Great. Now, Gary has done a lot of journalism in terms of coming from mainstream, that is print, and now he's doing, yes, a lot of digital stuff. Now, Gary, I'm just interested to find out because I think this is the opportunity we have because people are saying that social media or citizen journalism is a threat to print journalism.
Yeah, it is. It's always been a threat, and I feel like these days, even for the big media houses, I feel like one problem that's there these days, they're still trying to do things in the traditional way. Like for example, there's a fire somewhere in Blantyre. By the time it's 6 p.m., everybody knows exactly what happened, and then now we should wait for the newspaper on the next day. I feel like that has been killing journalism, but they still hope in the sense that I've seen that most media houses, they're adjusting to the times. I can say, like they know, like they understand. Because these days, everybody knows what's going on. By the time it's 6 p.m., everybody knows. So they're also trying to find a way and all that. So yeah, I feel like it's quite challenging, but it's something that media houses can handle because it's always been there where the media houses are coming. Like, we don't need them anymore, but we still need them for, like, let's say I'll see a post on somebody's social media page, but at the end of the day, I'll be waiting for Times or I'll be waiting for Nation or Zodiac or any of the big media houses to actually post the thing. Then I know that, oh, yeah, this thing, then it actually happened.
I think we did talk about it, Prince, as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's inciting when you mention that it's been a threat.
Yeah.
But also, don't you think? I'm thinking it also allows now the media itself, the mainstream, to also look at what are the other avenues in terms of news creation.
Yeah.
Which for me, I'm thinking if the story happened at 6 o'clock, which all of us have already known about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is not in depth. I would wish that it would mean, I'm sure maybe they also thought about it, that now if I want to read about the fire in the morning tomorrow, it happened yesterday, I would want to hear what does that mean, not what happened. Now I need someone to give me like an analysis of what that means, you know, because we can hear about the budget, for instance, or it's passed and everything by the time that the parliament was sitting is ending.
Yeah.
But now I need someone now to give me an in-depth, because a lot of social media content, because it's quick, it's fast.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow you that analysis and an in-depth opinion. So I think it also exposes whether some media mainstream houses have that capability to have that, okay, fine, the what happened, but then what does that mean?
Yeah.
And how far can you expand the same conversation? Because obviously we are led to the party in terms of social media and just internet in general.
Yeah.
But our friends have had the print media and the internet at the same time for the longest of time, but they still coexisted in some way.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at how that is also an opportunity for the mainstream to also find ways to still, yes, they can also invest in trying to be amongst the social media partakers, but I'm thinking there's still that gap that could still be exploited in terms of like, yes, Tamvagudi, there was fire yesterday at 6,
Yeah.
but then you can still have it in the print, but it doesn't have to come with the what anymore. It needs to come with the how, the why, something more than maybe it has happened before, giving reference to something. I think that's where, I would say they would have to take it as well.
Yeah. I feel like one thing that I used to hate mainly when I was in mainstream media was the fact that there's a story that's going on. I will actually go there. I'll understand everything that's going on because I want to get the accurate information.
Yeah.
By the time I'm back in the newsroom writing my story, I open my Twitter account, my Facebook. It's already there.
Yeah.
So it's something that it's a big challenge, but I feel like as you're putting it, if the mainstream guys they just need to adapt at this point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So in such instance, what do you then do? Because the news is already out there. You have now to expand,
Yeah.
as Prince said, to expand it, to
Yeah.
bring the other details which are not contained in the other posts that are available on social media, yeah?
Yeah. Like for the media house that I used to work for, at that point, it's I don't know if I'm allowed to name drop.
Oh wow.
Go ahead.
I mean, I used to work for Times.
Okay.
So Times has a newspaper, radio,
And online.
TV, and
yes.
online.
Yeah.
So you were writing 4 different stories
Yeah.
in 4 different ways. So you've gone to, let's say, Ulembankanya fire, as I put it. By the time on social media, you're just putting it out there. There was a fire that happened. On TV, that's a totally different
You have
story.
to have
You have to.
videos,
Yeah. Then now in the newspaper, you're getting for like, let's say it was a company, kunayaga moto. Then newspaper, you're telling the story from the perspective of they've lost
Something.
10 million kwacha. Yeah, like it's 4 different stories. So that's I feel like that's usually the channel that most journalists take, and I feel like that works.
Being a podcast, I think is very interesting that we have to talk about this.
Yeah.
I work for a radio station. Now we're moving from what you were talking about, but it's just reminded me of something. I work for a radio station, and for most times, people have been saying, "Why are you not on TV?" or "Why don't you do this?" And most of the
Why
times,
are you not on TV?
Exactly.
why am I not on TV? Because I've got a podcast. Yes, but then the thing that I'm noticing is that most of the media houses at the moment, they want you to be a jack of all trades, which for me I believe cannot happen. For me, I'm a guy who is a radio DJ per se, and most of the times I've been forced to read news on radio, which is not my thing. And as much as I got to my job, when I do JJ Majani, and then I'm on the phone, they got it.
Where would judge him say?
Chabra,
And
no,
that's
I'm
the
gonna defend
Omukaba,
it. I'm a jejema. I don't know what's your take, guys, but I believe, Gudi, most of the media houses that are coming in now, they want you to be a jack of all trades, which cannot happen.
But again, you got to remember that as far as that is also true, but the world is very competitive. I think one thing I've learned is you don't have to be a jack of all trades, but at least you can find something that defines you better than the next one. I love the way that you say that you personally, you know what you're good at, but it doesn't stop anyone else who can do most of it. The only challenge that comes with that, when it goes now to the administrative point of view, the reason why they would want Joy to know how to do radio and TV is because wage bill, they make sure that they also like getting the best out of the few that they have. Like Gary said, you gotta write 4 stories. Ideally, it means you need 4 people, but they're now trying to narrow it down to 1 person, which they're paying for that. I think that's one of the reasons. But I also fully understand what you're saying, because I'm one of those people that to be fair, I tried almost everything as far as creative is concerned. I started as a photographer. I was doing weddings in 2006, 2005, thereabouts. And then at some point we tried doing music. dude, like I can tell you, after all those years trying out all these things, I mean, we tried even stand-up comedy and all the things, you know.
You tried that?
Yeah, like I think I'm privileged to have
Were they
tried so
funny?
many other things.
Were the jokes
I
funny?
don't know. I don't know, man.
I've watched him perform, and during the 30 minutes he was on stage, I only laughed at one joke.
See,
It would be great to
it shall
like,
be your friend. It shall be your friends. You know,
it would
but
be great to put some of the videos and the on the
Yeah, for
podcast
reference.
on this
For
episode.
reference.
but what I mean is like in all that trying and everything, I had to get to where you were saying that I can't be good at everything. You know, I had to be at a space where not just being good, but what also was giving me the drive. Because at the end of the day, this like uundu misili, for me, I take it as nizamanja, you know. So you really have to be passionate about it because it takes a lot from you to really be consistently doing the same thing over and over again. It's like you falling in love with a person you're not really in love with. You know,
yeah,
you
true.
wake up every day, you feel like slapping them, and you don't want to talk to them
Yeah.
every day. It can't happen every day unless you're meeting the wrong person. So for me, it's like at the end of the day, you have to be able to explore all these other things that you can actually do, but get to a place where you know, okay, fine, I think I've done this, I know this, but I think I'm good at this, I'm passionate about this. And then you can take it from there. So I understand on the administrative point of view why they would want Gary to be able to do 4 stories, the same in visuals, audio, and online and social media. But at the same time, that's on an administrative point of view. On the creative side, we know Gary can be good at all those 4. He probably could, but there's the top one. You
Yes,
would have
exactly.
to put a hierarchy.
You have your thing.
You say, could he, like he's saying now, you can even tell where he's saying, I'm a digital,
Digital, yeah.
media practitioner. So ideally, that's all also I would say. But it's a conflict between the administration point of view and also the creative point of view.
I think also it goes down to the fact that maybe when you're discovering yourself, when you're starting the job, you have to be to learn
Yeah.
all the trades in whatever job you do. Let's say, okay, I appreciate and give respect to people who are multi-skilled and multi-talented.
Yeah.
Let's say if you work for a broadcasting station and you do a lot of things, but as you go, you're able to define and find one thing that is good for you. But I still find other media houses which have broadened to say they've accommodated radio, TV, and print and online at the same time. They want a guy who does this to be everywhere, which in some instance, it devalues the work they do or something they're good at. Let's say they're good at writing, they're good at print, wabezala about TV, all about radio, awika nyimbo. Okay, the question I would have for you is, how would you take it if you found me doing football commentary? Also, kukaba touchline, commentary ni mache hey, for example, if you twist the story, Peter Drury,
Yeah.
how would you feel if you found him playing music on a radio station or maybe wearing a news? Would you believe him? You see now.
I find that interesting. I find it interesting.
You see.
Yeah, but like to me, I always feel like fine, being a jack of all trades doesn't mean that you're going like you can't be the best at one thing.
No.
Because you're trying to do a bunch of things. But with media, I feel like it's different. You know, like just now, like when we were setting up everything for this podcast, like there were a few things that I didn't know that I wish that I knew just
Yeah.
for the knowledge of it. You know,
Exactly, yeah.
like with media, you never know what kind of story that you're going to have. So I feel like media is a different field where you should at least know a couple of things.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, the other part is the fact that it allows you to the advantage to be better than the next one.
Yeah.
Because the world, like I said, is very competitive. So as far as you can be good at everything, you have to package yourself that it is the difference between you and the next one. Because like there's so many people that are creative, like a very talented, but it's that's why even Pasivibaja or like Amalimba, even my applications for a lot of even jobs, they will say that we're looking for someone with a degree, but they say if you have a master's, it's an upper hand. Ideally, what they're trying to say is this is the basic that we would want for this post, but it's also good if you are beyond this, you know. I remember even when I was at TV, me being able to shoot or like script, shoot, edit was a threat to a lot of people because they didn't have that, right?
Yeah.
But it allowed me to get the expertise of the other departments, which now when I look back and I'm thinking, yeah, I wasn't good at editing, but it allowed me when I'm creating content, I understand what's needed from a camera guy. So even the experience as me, as I try to do music, as I try to do everything, I learned how that could be the next thing that makes me different from the next person. So I think it's just a matter of, again, the only funny part is still gonna come back to the administration and the creative conversation, because the creative conversation is, it doesn't have formality. So you can be literally, like a lot of artists now, they want to be recording themselves because they fully think that they understand themselves better than it could be sitting with a producer, you know? So that's why even the Kanyes and those other guys, you find that in production, they are so part of it as well, because they want something that makes them different and also create something different. So it's a very, yeah, the administration. They would want you to have more of it so that it serves them to get more people, right?
Yeah.
But while on the creative side, because you want to formalize your industry, it is a hazard if you know a lot, because you can't do all that.
Yeah,
Now, if
true.
you end up wanting to do all that, it becomes now like a danger that can kill you as well.
Yeah.
Because literally, you can be good at singing, you can be good at producing, it's possible, but it doesn't, it gives you the bias of not creating something that is sustainable,
Yeah.
you know.
I was just imagining Onesimus rapping. Like, imagine if Onesimus
He
could,
can,
could
yeah,
sing
obviously
and rap.
he can rap,
Yeah,
but then him rapping now would mean that his fan base is starting to confuse his fan base. Okay,
Yeah.
afuna ubanga jani. Of course, the rappers would feel threatened to say, "Afuna ulanda
They
mahalo."
must
But
want
his
to,
fan
they must want
base,
to bounce,
and it
then
bounce,
he's
and
gonna rap,
Yes,
you
Ivanga
know. But I mean, Commander, with I think with art, I'm of the view that you can also, like, the same thing. You can be passionate about so many things. There's always like a niche that comes to you and say, okay, I love playing music on radio and as a DJ for events. I'm fine with that. And that allows you to invest more on it because you know the things that you really want to narrow down. And your muscle memory gets to train itself on things that, Olara Guzusa 12 o'clock, you know,
You're going to
like
do
you
it.
can go, you're going to do it.
Exactly, yeah.
So if today you woke me up and said that we want you to do a set for stand-up comedy, I'll be lying to you. I'll be like, dude, the last time I tried to do that was like, what, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, but it doesn't mean that I can sit down and write something, you know. But what I did now was like, okay, fine. I feel like this is not something I can do every day, but I can create a platform for those that want to do it every day.
Yeah.
So I understand them, but I don't have to be them. It's the same thing about artist management. Like, one of the things that helped me to understand artists is because I tried to be one. So I understood what are their needs. So I said, okay, fine, I don't have to be the guy in front. I can be the guy behind them because I fully understand, or I can learn to understand what they're looking for.
He tried to be an artist at one time, and if you want his videos, I have them. All you have to do is pay me. I have them. Now, moving on to, let's talk about music this year, 2024. I think this year we are receiving music in triple dosages.
What do you mean we? It's you.
We are
do you mean
the three of us.
We.
But like, you get the most.
You.
you
What do you
get
mean we?
you get the best type of music, the worst type of
what do you
music.
mean?
The worst,
mean?
yes.
Why are you putting us in
So
that?
we as DJs, yeah, we know.
What do you mean?
We okay. Oh, we as in we Malawians are getting music in
Yeah.
triple
Yeah,
the
clarify.
dosage.
Yeah.
In the sense that almost each and every day there's not just a song, but songs dropping each and every day with videos.
Yeah.
And I've seen several people complain about it. I've seen several people, express satisfaction to say this is good for the industry.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think, and I want to find out what you guys think about it.
Why would anyone complain about
Because
about
we're
getting a lot
humans.
of music as
Yeah.
Because
a
we're
as a
humans.
listener?
We complain about so many other things. We're humans.
We just have to complain.
Yeah. For some
Okay, is
reason.
it good for the industry? Is it bad for the industry?
I feel like it's good for the industry. Like, I feel like it's all this started last year. I feel like 2023, in my experience, that is, I haven't had like a time, like a year where a lot of musicians dropped nice, like quality music,
Yeah, yeah.
really dope videos. So I feel like 2023 was just like a stretch guy, whatever I can call it. to a point where now I feel like a lot of artists now have the pressure to say, Woody, you know what? If you didn't do anything last year, if you didn't do much last
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
like you saw new artists coming in, like they another shine basically. So now everybody's trying to
Catch up.
yeah, everybody's trying to catch up. Either they need to like remain,
Relevant.
you know, yeah. So I feel like it's very good for the industry. Because if a lot of people are dropping good music, and ndindiga nyimbo again, like, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to make
Up
sure that it's
until,
good. So
yeah.
yeah, so I feel like it's we're going there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for me, it's like, just to extend to what you're talking about, is like, when I mean, us worrying about or complaining that there's so much music that's coming out, is us denying Malawi music to grow, as an entertainment to grow. Because even how I always, we always have this conversation with a lot of artists and creatives that we work with. They're like, no, I can release a song on that day because there's that guy who is releasing. I understand that part, but I'm thinking, Zigolo says, like, the whole day, people cannot listen to one song. You know, we are in a digital age where not everything is as it used to be. You know, and that also brings competition, and competition that is healthy like that, it allows the growth of so many other things.
Yeah.
You know, so even videos now, when you watch video yabo, you know, usanamalize umva sort wina sort of inaso. You know, and I'm loving the fact that it's actually kids. When I say kids, I don't mean like underage, but I mean like young artists that are coming in with so much investment in terms of like material wise, from the audio, the visuals. That is pushing even the older generation of artists to say, hey, well, good, if I really want to stay relevant, I have to compete at this pace, you know. And these young artists, they have energy. They can do so much now, and which is good, because now the industry can shake up and can have a standard of some sort. Kuti iweyo ngati sukupanga nawo kulegeza apa iweyo ndio uli kutali kwambiri, you know. So it's good, and the only thing now is them, the artists that are creating the music or the movies and everything, as far as they are under pressure, they need to find a way to manage that pressure, because now it can also kill you if you're not aware that you are just creating for competition or pressure instead of knowing where you want to go. Because that's also the tricky part, to say that are you creating because of the pressure, or because you know, one, you can actually do it at that time, the market is allowing you to do and experiment all the things that you want to try. So that is also very crucial for those that are creating to understand and see Gudi that can drive them to where.
Talking about triple dosages from music, there's an attachment to it to say there's this year we're getting 5 festivals which shall be hosted at the year alone. I'm not talking about anywhere else.
Now that I can say it's too much.
What? Because now it's affecting your pocket.
Yeah.
5 festivals, all taking place at the lake, and
Yeah.
these are new and old festivals. Talking about old festivals, this year we shall see the return of Lake of Stars after a couple of years break. It's coming to take place at Chinteche, and then obviously you have got Sun Festival, which have not yet announced at the moment as we're recording. They have not announced their lineup, and then you have Illusions, who have also announced another of their festivals taking place at the lake. And then you have got UMP, who have also come in, and they've been quiet for a while.
Yeah.
And then Jagajino Abuera, they are not hosting my usual awards or any other festival parties and all that. Kumba festival ku Monkey by Cape Maclear to be precise, Cape Maclear. So this year, so many festivals taking place. You're saying it's too much for you?
I feel like it's too much for me. Like not just because of the pockets issue, but yeah, definitely that's playing like a big role. Komano Numakava Suganzoroke. I really want to go to Lake of Stars. I've never been there, by the way, because the time that Lake of Stars was held in Malawi, I think I was at a point where I couldn't go to these kind of things.
Now you
But
can?
now I want, yeah, now I have, now I can.
Okay,
But
when I
then-
for you to museum go already.
Amas. I think anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Proceed.
For Lake of Stars, I really want to go there, but then it's also like now I'm also trying to think, okay, budget wise, Chani, like, can I manage to go to Lake of Stars? Can I manage to go to the Illusions, UMP, all that, you know? So I just feel like as much as it's a good sign that probably things are working out in that industry, because there all these festivals, like definitely they're using international artists, and it's coming at a time where devaluation and all that. So I guess it's just a sign. Good as into we end up, I don't know. But for us as consumers of these things, I just feel like I know I wouldn't dissolve Voda for these guys to collaborate and say, you know what, let's do one thing or two things. But personally, I don't know. When a prince, when a Zowaza, and since my event managers.
I think for me it's going to be interesting in the sense to see before Prince comes in, maybe
Yeah.
the lineup. How diverse and how different would the festivals
yeah.
be in terms of the lineup?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, when you have something that's growing, sometimes you have to expect that it will come with no rules, especially with the creative industry. So ideally, we could have loved like to have these business conversations, because what you're actually trying to talk about is mostly on the business side of it,
Yeah.
which is okay. Like Joyce mentioned about the artists that are going to come through, because if you check the past maybe 4 or 5 years, what we're getting a lot is backtrack artists, like
Yeah.
who play with a DJ, or even a lot of DJs that have come to play in Malawi and everything. A few, the likes of the like maybe Morgan Heritage, the kind of caliber, Chris Martins and those as artists coming through. The only thing which would I would say personally is to know that it's okay for this to happen, because the only lesson that can come from this is what would be when these things start happening, before what we're afraid of and what we are actually talking about. So when these festivals come out, there will be those that will now need to survive based on what they wanted to do initially. Because obviously, we can't be here to think that we know all their plans, right? So there are some that their plans are solid, they are long, like there's longevity that's going to be created and everything. That's what we need the industry to have, because the strong will continue. You
Yeah.
understand? Because the business of events and festivals, it's like any other business. It looks very easy from outside, but it's not as we think it is. It's like any other business. It will make sense based on the guidelines you've set. So for the industry, it's important that all these are happening, because it also creates a standard of what is expected as far as festival is concerned. So Gabita Ogugu, ukaona oh awawa, I think I think is this I think is this. So that will allow now the same thing about music coming in every now and then.
Yeah.
It will allow a standard that will be set. Then the strong will continue. In terms of the audiences, being able to pay in terms of like financial and everything, sadly, or maybe I don't know to say sadly, but somehow people find a way to entertain themselves. Money has never been a problem for people that want to socialize. Something like it's interesting. One of the things that I've always laughed about is like, look at companies like let me not mention names, but like companies that make alcohol, for instance. As far as like alcohol, banks, it's rare to find them going bankrupt. Even the economy is not is not doing well, because in the time that people are not having enough money, they are stressed. So
Yeah.
they find a reason and a way to socialize and distress. So I know all these festivals literally mutobeza kazodu kwaka zazaso bwino, but the challenge will be now, or the conversation that we can take from there is, how sustainable are those business ventures? What will make each festival different from the other? That is where now the conversation. Also, in a general space, how does that help the industry to grow, apart from it creating a standard? So now we're looking at the local artists as well, because they now to look at, I'm a singer. Can I also be a performer? That's also a very different conversation that we need to be looking at for the industry as well.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting, and with the devaluation, I mean,
I was about to get into that to say that if you look at the festivals, most of the festivals at the moment, we are only capable, no disrespect to anyone, but we are only capable of bringing South African and Zambian artists and maybe Tanzanian artists once or two times. We're failing to bring some of the best performers from outside. Devaluation.
no, but I'll be on that. I'll be very, I don't know. I would say I'm privileged to be part of people that have been able to bring artists in Malawi from Africa, outside Africa, Europe, and everything. The issue is not really about just devaluation. The issue is also about the needs of the artist. For argument's sake, for us to bring Burna Boy, it's not about the money. Malawi has enough like billionaires that can fund, even companies can fund artists like Burna Boys and all these big top notch. But these guys, the issue is not about the booking fee. The issue is everything that comes with them. My requirements, some requirements that you'd think they don't want to perform at your place, and you start thinking, goody, maybe they don't like us,
Private jets.
Stuff like that are like, when they explain why they need them, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But you're not at a space where even just technical writers, they'll tell you that my crew just on stage,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a stage that's like maybe 20 by 30, and when you look at that, you're like, to defend the 80, like just to make they'll say, I want a rig, Yama speaker this way, and good, for you to do that, you need to go either to SA to get that,
Yeah.
If you give an example of just now, Don Moyen was here, I think about a year or two.
Last of last year.
Yeah, the equipment that they brought in was actually a lot of it, I think, from like SA, in other neighboring countries. It's not undermining us, but what their needs are, like for them to do that, it's like, so for me, it's not about just the performance fee, it's everything that comes with them. So you pay them that performance fee, and now everything that comes with them. It becomes a really like a shaky space,
Yeah.
Even now, some festivals have announced how much we need to pay for the tickets. Already we are like, hey, I think Ababa. So I understand the need for us to to like go outside Zambia, outside Zimbabwe, outside South Africa. But I think for now, Commando, that's where we are. We should be able to be okay with that up until we get at a space where it balances up, because it's a business,
Yeah.
So hey, I'm every time I hear, like I know the best we can do. Even Nigerians now,
Yeah.
it's so hard for you to book them, not because they're expensive in terms of their performance fee, but it's just everything that comes
demands.
with them.
Yeah.
And then I run away from calling them demands, but their needs. I
Yeah.
always say their needs because I understand them. You are in Africa, but those things I'm as base, right? One of the funny things about like all these A-list artists, they want maybe a jet.
Yeah.
Their reasoning is always that the day that you book them, like they say today, you want them to perform in Malawi today. Tomorrow they need to be in Angola to perform again. So they
They
can't
can
do
travel
this.
commercial.
Yeah, So
Yeah.
when they throw in that argument, for someone like me who doesn't understand how these actually shows are, you'd be like, no vuta jabe,
Yeah.
But when you look at that, you're like, hey, yeah, I think, So even that's just that on like a hospital rider.
Yeah.
But now even the tech yoga, like Udi, Pastage Bawa Zafunajani, what kind of sound, they are very specific, I remember one of the festivals we were doing, when Chris Martin was coming, what he wanted a specific sound mixer.
Console, yeah.
And we the supplier for the festival had to order it in China. And guess what? We didn't tell him what we had because he sent us what he wanted.
Yeah.
When he got in, his sound engineer got on the console. He wanted to do sound check. We ordered like a console from China.
Yeah.
And, dude, the only thing is, because it's something that you can use over time, so it's not a problem. But the sound engineer, the sound provider was like, I know I can order it, because I want to get this business.
Yeah.
So he ordered it, a lot of money, to be fair. It jets in, the artist comes in, they want to do sound check. The sound engineer comes on the console. Because we didn't tell him what we have. We told him what we can get him. He now came in and said, dude, I want this one.
The
We're
old
like,
one.
"Dude, we bought you this because you wrote us this,
Yeah.
So that's how, when you look at their needs,
Yeah.
but
Tough.
again,
Very, very
Yeah.
tough. Great.
Yeah.
I think someone is going to call me out because I did mention that we have got 5 festivals taking place at the lake. I've mentioned 4. H5 and Daiwara, guys. Saname.
What a minute. So it's gonna be like,
Mention
a
Black
Leco Stars.
UMP.
UMP,
Uh-huh.
Sun Festival,
Uh-huh.
and then Mandiwali.
Illusions.
Illusions.
Of course, Sun
Yeah, there's a
Festival,
first one
last year, Nabangala, Kumangoja, Nuguja, and then the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, shout outs to all those who are having festivals this year. We do wish you all the best, and definitely we shall be there hyping you up and wish you nothing but a wonderful time. And also all the artists, big up to you guys. Otherwise, we're running out of time and we shall catch you on the next podcast. Big up to Prince Chikweba, who's been with us today, as well as Gary, who's making a debut here.
But you know,
Thank
Prince.
you.
I mean, sorry, Joy. Do you know the irony about the devaluation conversation though? Like we didn't talk about
the
it, but-
devaluation conversation?
Yeah, because now for creatives that are like, let's give it an example of like musicians, right? One of the advantages of, I know the devaluation has messed up.
So
like
we'll
they-
talk about it on the next one.
Oh, okay, but it's fine.
You're already getting in the groove. Eh?
Yeah, because
I think I'm gonna in the next episode.
Because I was
We have to
remembering
go.
it. Okay, cool. That's fine.
Ulembe na bagi, I said,
Yeah, but
Mupasa
I'll
beno,
forget
I
about it.
don't
I'll forget
know.
about it. But
That's the only point.
I mean, yeah, but I'll forget about it. But it's a very short one.
It's a
Like,
short one.
Yeah,
I thought it
Let
was
him
gonna be a
share.
whole
Let him
topic.
share.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
because
go ahead.
what I was trying to say was, at the moment, because devaluation, ideally, mwina masamu hajatitaujedwa but what we're buying as a dollar now is a different cost, right? So I think the banks is doing like 1.8 to 1.7 thereabouts exchange rate. That is an advantage as far as it has messed up a lot of businesses. But if you're creative and you sell your stuff on a digital platforms, which you pay
Yeah,
in forex,
Yeah.
it's a lot of money because now mwina weyambapo the exchange rate was like 1.4. Now, if you have, let's say for artists, musicians that are having their music streamed on Spotify and all these places, now even if a month they were making $100, then maybe there was 1,200.
Okay.
Now it's not 1,200;
Yeah.
it's 1,800 because of the devaluation.
Yeah.
So it also, that's one of the reasons maybe you have seen the rise in a lot of artists releasing a lot of music as well, because they know that the more they have streaming, the more they're making enough in dollars, which if you change it in kwacha, it's a lot of money. So it could be also a good space for like a lot of creatives to also look at that as an avenue, which doesn't guarantee us that your people will stream, because you really have to have a value for people to also give you that stream.
Yeah.
Because we talk about Rusad every day and people are just looking at it, skip, you know. So yeah, that was what I found interesting. In
Yeah.
that
Right,
whole-
can you mention data?
Even data.
Yeah, did
Yeah.
my points in that.
Kwambiri.
Yeah.
I like that point,
Yeah.
Kwambiri. And I think this is where we have to go. And that is how we finish After Monday podcast. Once again, thank you very much, Gary, for being with us today.
Thank you.
And Prince, thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
So
for having
remember,
me.
give us the comments, suggestions, as well as anything else you'd like to bring us in as far as our discussion that we had today, or the various different discussions that we had today. So yes, comments, suggestions, any opinions as well. Thank you so much for watching After Monday podcast.